How are you guys today? All right. So I'm Morgan Pinks. I'm the operations manager at the Garden Club of Jacksonville. Joining me today from our staff is Corinne Lightfoot, our marketing and membership manager, and Christy Osuno, one of our membership ambassadors. She's right back here checking people in. We would like to thank the Jesse Ball DuPont Fund for supporting budding gardeners with a generous grant. I'd like to recognize our budding gardeners co-chairs, Maureen Bialco and Jean Moyer. Nope. If you're a volunteer for today's program, please stand and be recognized. Oh, nice. All right, we got the PowerPoint going now. So I'd like to tell you guys about some of our upcoming programs. Our next Budding Gardeners is going to be Terrarium Treasures. It's February 18th. A terrarium is a miniature garden grown inside a container in a perfect way to enjoy plant life in a small space. It's also an excellent tool for learning about the water cycle as it demonstrates evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Children will make their own terrariums to take home and enjoy. We also have a Budding Gardeners on March 11th called Go Green. It's for St. Patrick's Day. It's environmental awareness by planting a seedling to take home and grow, and learn about ways you can practice sustainability with your family. We also have our flea market coming up in February 25th. You can score fantastic finds at this gigantic yard sale featuring enticing items from homes across Jacksonville. You can find toys, housewares, artwork, furniture, books, plants, and tons of clothes. The flea market is the ultimate place to reuse and recycle. Keep these valuable items out of the landfill while you help support the Garden Club of Jacksonville. We have Blooms Galore coming up on April 8th. You can attend this giant plant sale along with an amazing day of activities throughout the Garden Club's campus. There will be budding gardeners activities, including nature-themed crafts, lawn games, and more. If you haven't joined the Garden Club of Jacksonville, now is a great time to do it. You can enjoy the benefits of free Budding Gardeners programs as well as membership pricing for the flea market and Bloom Schooler preview parties. If you are a member of the Garden Club Board of Trustees, please stand and be recognized. If you are a member of the Garden Club, please raise your hand. Thank you for your membership. All right, so for today, we're going to have 3 different activities. Table 1 is going to be seed planting. Table 2 is going to be tile art, and table 3 is going to be sachet bag making. Your name tag has a number 1, 2, or 3. You will start at the table matching the number on your name tag. After 10 minutes, listen for the bell, then you'll move to the next number. Oh my goodness. We'll figure something out. We'll figure it out. After all 3 activities, we'll invite the children to enjoy a snack, including lavender shortbread and lavender lemonade. After today's program, please complete our survey by scanning this QR code with your phone. We really appreciate all of the feedback. Now I would like to introduce Pam James. She's today's speaker. She is a co-owner of Pelindaba Lavender in downtown Fernandina. She spent more than 30 years working in corporate America. In 2016, Pam and her business partner, Heather Edge, were on vacation with friends on San Juan Island in Washington State. After visiting the Pelindaba Lavender Farm and taking a tour with owner and founder, Dr. Stephen Robbins, they decided they would like to bring the amazing fragrance and healing powers of lavender to Fernandina. Their new store opened in March of 2017. Now Pam shares her love of lavender with as many people as possible. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and Christy will bring a microphone to you so we can capture your questions on the recording. Please help me welcome Pam James.
Wow. I saw that. Well, good morning. Thank you everyone for coming today. This is quite the treat. It's actually my first time getting to expose children to lavender and my love of lavender. So this is kind of exciting. And I see, so If we could we hold off on the questions until after we talk about lavender for a minute? Would that be okay? All right, very good. You'll do that or I'll do that? Okay. Okay, so the actual name of our business is Pelindaba because the name is a South African name. It's a Zulu term and it means place of great gathering. So the lavender farm where all of our products come from is beautiful. It looks like that in the summertime. And it was started as kind of an open air preservation area. So it was just meant to be beautiful. And then lots of people started enjoying the love of that lavender, visiting the farm in the summer and smelling the sweet smell of lavender. And then it became a business. So how many of you like lavender? Yay. It's the only question I'm going to ask. So you wonder why we don't have lavender fields that look like that here in Florida? Yeah, well, that's because it doesn't like so much water. We have too much rain in Florida to grow lavender very well. Some of the ladies here in the garden club may be successful at it. I'm not. The soil has to be really, really dry. So almost like the sand, but it doesn't like to get all the rain. It doesn't like the hot humidity that we have. As a matter of fact, lavender would like today, nice and crisp and sunny outside because it needs about 6 to 8 hours of sunlight in the daytime to grow very well. So this question I'm going to ask a question, but it's kind of a silly question. Anybody know how many varieties of lavender there are? I see someone that might know. Do you have a guess? Yeah. Just to let you know, there are over 400 types of lavender. 400 different varieties of lavender. That's a lot of lavender, isn't it? So they all look different. Some are white in color, some are pink in color, some's green, purple, blue, some's very beautiful, some's kind of scraggly looking, some smells really nice, and some doesn't have a smell at all. So it runs the full gamut of any type of plant. And we think that lavender is probably the most used plant in the world because it's so good for so many different things. But just a little bit about the various varieties of lavender. We have most of it originated in the Mediterranean, near France, Spain, England. Those areas is where lavender actually originated. And let's see if I can show you. So this is some lavender up close, and you can see some of the varieties of the color. It's a little faint up there, but it just shows you all the different color variations of the lavender. Some more photos of the field there. Our field is organic, so it's certified organic. And so all the products that we make, we try to keep as clean and natural as we possibly can. And then lavender has to be harvested by hand. You can't put equipment out in the field. It's very delicate. The lavender grows very uniquely, so you literally have to grab it by the handfuls and just cut it off with a knife. Put a little rubber band around it and make it so that it can dry or so that it can go into our distillery. So these are kind of moving along. But to go back to the different varieties of lavender, the English varieties are called Angustifolia. Kind of fun to say the names of lavender. Angustifolia. The French are Intermedia, and the Spanish varieties are called Sticus. You'll see some Sticus plants in a little bit. They look like they have bunny ears on top of the bloom, so they're kind of fun. So the intermedias, or the French varieties of lavender, those are the ones that have become most used for their broad spectrum of uses. So lotions, fragrances, insect repellents, they just work really well. And they bloom later in the summer. So you'll have your Spanish varieties that start blooming in April. So they're the earliest ones. And then you get your angustifolias, and then you get your intermedias. So you've got color at the farm from April through September. And then in August is when we start to harvest the lavender so that we can use it for all the different things. So late July through August is the ideal time to enjoy lavender at its peak. This is when the color is most brilliant. The aroma is incredible. You can literally see the oils wafting up from the field. And then the fields are abuzz with bees. Bees love lavender, but they won't bother you. They're more interested in the lavender than they are you. So they'll just buzz around, taking in all the lavender. So if you've ever walked through, has anyone ever walked through a lavender farm or a lavender field? Yes? It's hard to forget, isn't it? It's quite the experience. So with the lavender and having over 400 different varieties, we use two primarily to make all of our products. They're both of the French variety, the intermediates, and they're called Grosso and Provence. Now, a lot of people always think that lavender just grows in France, and they always think of Provence. So the Provence variety is a very good variety for culinary uses. So I heard you're going to have some lavender shortbread cookies, and we brought some lavender lemonade for you to share and enjoy. So the culinary use, we use the Provence variety. We cut it as soon as it starts to bloom. That way it stays very sweet and savory. It's not bitter. The longer the oils stay in the flower buds, the stronger it gets. So the Grosso variety makes it really good for oils and for flowers because the fragrance becomes more strong and it lasts longer. So it makes it very good for using for fragrances and for products. So I mentioned earlier that lavender, you have to cut it by hand. Well, then we steam distill it. So if you can see the machine over to the left, that's called our distillery. So we cut all of the lavender out of the field and we put it in this distilling machine, and then it's steam distilled. So we start pumping steam in there with the lavender. So you can imagine the fragrance all around the farm when that's happening, right? Wonderful. So the steam produces the oil. It goes through these two different machines. And on one side comes out the lavender oil, just the pure essential oil. That's the lavender in its purest form. And then it comes out with water. So I don't know if you can tell from the photo, but on the left-hand side, there's a jug about this tall. It's about a gallon jug. It's dark brown glass. That's to protect the oil and keep it from breaking down. So you've got this you've got about a gallon jug there that all the oil drips into. And then on the right, you can see all those blue plastic containers. They're like huge, big water jugs, 5 gallons each. That's all the distilled water that goes into there. And that's from just the distillation process. So we save the oil in the dark bottles, either dark brown or dark blue bottles, to keep the ultraviolet light out and to keep it from breaking the oils down. So even over time, lavender does mellow a little bit. It actually gets better over time. So we hold on to our lavender essential oil for about 6 months to a year before we even sell it, just so that we can make sure that it's at its peak fragrance. Now, all that water that comes out over there, we use that to make stuff. It's actually called hydrosol or floral water. And it's one of our best products ever because it's a green cleaner. So you can clean anything, your kitchen, appliances, you can clean your floor. We even spray it in our dog's water bowl. Has really clean teeth and fresh breath. It's good to clean out your car, your boat. You can clean your toys with it because it's antibacterial. So it'll get all the germs off of your toys and stuff. So it's really good. So the hydrosol, the water, the floral water, is the base for a lot of our products that are sprayable. Okay, has anybody heard of aromatherapy? Yeah, you probably hear your parents, especially moms, talk about aromatherapy. Well, that basically means therapy of fragrant plants. So this practice has been used for centuries, like over 2,500 years. It's a very long time, right? Everybody thought it just came around a few years ago, but it didn't. So aromatherapy can be it's basically touch, smell, a combination of these, but it's you can breathe in the essence, and we're going to let everybody smell lavender a little bit. You'll be able to just breathe it in and smell it. It's very calming. You can use it with lotions and oils, and it makes your skin feel really nice, and it gives you a little aromatherapy with it, and it helps to relax you. So it's really good to use lavender before bedtime, help you sleep better. So lavender is a natural sedative, and that's probably the longest recognized therapeutic property. So lavender was around back in the times of the early Greeks and Romans. So that was like the year 500, and it's now the year 2023. So that tells you just how old it is, right? So some of the other properties of lavender, besides it being a sedative, it's a natural antiseptic. So it kills germs. So we have a hand sanitizer that you can take with, that you can use to kill the germs on your hands. It'll kill germs if you get boo-boos, like little scrapes or cuts or burns. It's also a topical anesthetic. That means it stops the pain. So it'll make your boo-boos not hurt anymore. It'll make bug bites and bug stings not hurt or itch or sting anymore. And it's also great to add to the kitchen. So moms know, or dads, whoever's the cook in the house, know that it's very easy to get an oven burn or a cooking burn. Lavender will take that sting away, and it'll usually keep you from getting a blister from the burn. So it's a fabulous thing to have in your first aid kit. And then another great use of a product that we have called healing mist. Everybody here likes to go to the beach, right? Yeah, pretty much. You get those nasty sunburns. Lavender is great to heal sunburns and to take that sting away. And then lavender is a natural insect repellent. So mosquitoes, gnats, no-see-ums, you've all encountered those, right? Well, you don't have to worry about those if you wear some lavender because it'll keep the bugs away. And it's no chemicals. It's all natural. It's very soothing. It's very calming. Keeps the bugs away, though. And then, in case you have other types of boo-boos, like you spill some glue or you get some paint on something, lavender is a natural oil solvent. So it'll remove paint, it will remove glue, it'll remove grease. So you have to be careful what you use it on because it's a high potent cleaner. And then culinary lavender is the last part that we'll talk about. And lavender can be substituted for rosemary in any recipe. That's the easiest way to tell you how to use lavender, is just substitute it for rosemary. But I'll tell you, if you take some culinary lavender, just the little buds, and put it in a box of brownie mix that you mix up, or some cake mix or cookie mix, put just a little lavender in there, it makes a really good flavor. So lavender mixes really well with chocolate, also mixes really well with lemon, and then you'll get a taste of the lavender shortbread cookies in a bit, so you'll know just how good it tastes. In Fernandina especially, we have several of our local businesses that use the culinary lavender, and they use it to make simple syrup, to make lavender lattes, lavender coffee, or adult beverages or baked goods, and some delicious meals. So we carry quite a number of culinary items that you can actually just pick up right in the store and try. Shortbread cookies, chocolate chip cookies, some toffee that's made right here in Jacksonville for us by a local nonprofit, Rethreaded. They make that for us. We have some chutneys, some lavender honey, organic lavender honey. It's really good. So that's a little bit about lavender. And we do have some things that you can try over here so that you can see, and we have some things that we can give away. like some lavender growing tips if you want to try your hand at growing some lavender, some information about some of our products. Now, do we have any questions? That's okay. Mhm. Yeah. It depends on what's on it that you don't want to come off, because if it's a painted bench and then the red's on there, then it will. I would start with some hydrosol. I actually sprayed hydrosol on around our window the other day. We have windows painted at the holidays down at the store, and the wood trim they had dropped paint on, and I sprayed some hydrosol on it. Waited about 15 seconds and went over it with a little brush, and it came right off. So certainly worth trying. Okay, next question. Hi, Lexi.
Hi, do you think cleaning lavender would take pencil off the wall? Because we moved into a new house and I just found a bunch of pencil drawing marks on the inside of my closet, and I was wondering if lavender would take that right off.
I think there's a very good possibility that it will take it right off.
Does it work with
It
crayon
may
too?
take the paint off, so you might have to go the route of her and use some
Do you think-
hydrosol.
Do you think it'll work with crayon too?
What's that? Sorry.
Crayon, like we found crayon marks on the wall too, red crayon marks.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do I use this?
You're just talking to it.
So, how do you make all this stuff?
How do we, well, that's a very good question. Let me show you. I'll give you some more pictures. Here's some of the ways we make it. Everything is called handcrafted. That means we don't have machines making anything. We do it all by hand. So they're making a lavender stress ball, which you can see up here. This is showing them making something called our treatment stick. That's a little first aid stick that I like to call. It's great for headaches and stuff like that. But we mix everything in the containers and then we pour it up individually. So it's very labor intensive. A lot of hard work goes into making those lavender plants. Making some insect repellent in this photo. And then this just shows some of the products that we have. There's some more of the culinary items. Oh, these are all cleaning products. We have pet shampoo. We have stuff that'll clean your sinks. We have all sorts of things like that. This is our gateway house right here. Let me see if I've already passed I think I might have passed our production facility. Let me go back real quick. See if I can, oh, that building right there, that's where everything is made. So it's a 2-story, really large building. We have our kitchen is in one section. It's upstairs away from everything else. And then all the other products are made on, downstairs. Did that answer your question, sir? What is? See what else he has.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. In the microphone. Well, I was just gonna say that what are the ingredients to make all this stuff, like how to make the oils and how to make the stuff and stuff like that. That's what I kept.
So we
that's
have a
what I was trying to say.
recipe for every single product. We make, one in each section. So sometimes we use water and some other ingredients. Sometimes we make lotions. Sometimes we make stress balls. You would just take the cloth, someone sews the outside part, and then someone else stuffs the lavender buds inside. So it's a lot of folks that just sit there and mix all the ingredients together and then put them in their containers.
What kinds of lavender grow here? Like, what is the best kind of lavender to grow
That's
here?
an excellent question. She wants to know what kind of lavender grows best here. It's called phenomenal. So phenomenal is the variety that you want to ask your plant store if they can get for you, because it is a hybrid. and it is a little more tolerant of our humidity and the rain that we have. Excellent question.
How does lavender grow?
How does it grow?
What's the life cycle?
So you can start it from seeds. It's actually easier to get plants from a nursery. If you want to, and like I said, if you want to grow it around here, then look for the Phenomenal brand or the Phenomenal variety. That's going to give you your best chance. If you're going to grow it in a pot, let's use a clay pot, not plastic, not glazed, nothing like that. It just likes the plain old clay pot so that the soil can dry out. If you want to plant it in your yard, you can't have a sprinkler that'll water it. It needs to be either up on a raised bed, or you could mound the dirt pretty high so that all the water could drain off. And you just have to keep it. When you first plant it, it needs a little bit of water, but once it gets established, you don't have to water it anymore. Okay.
Do you have any non-scented lavender today?
Do we have anything that you can buy today?
Non-scented lavender.
Non-scented? Nope. Everything's scented lavender. Sorry, babe. Well, the hydrosol's not so perfumey. It's more earthy smelling. Do you know what that means? It's very, very mild. Oh, I gotcha. No, ma'am. We just have the two smelly kinds.
What is lavender seed?
What is a lavender seed? So it's like a seed that you would plant for any type of other plants, but it's very, very small. It almost looks like a little tiny black dot.
So I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
The first one is, how much oil is produced in a single season?
Gosh, in a single season, I could not tell you the exact quantity. What I can tell you is that it takes 1,000 flower heads to make 1 ounce of oil. So it takes 1,000 of those flower heads right there to make 1 ounce of oil.
And then the second question is, how long does the distillation process take to produce?
How long does it take?
Yeah.
I know that you put the lavender in the distillery, and it starts to instantly, as soon as the heat gets up, it starts to instantly drip oil. And then you basically just kind of have to watch until the oil stops, and then it's over. So it depends on how much lavender you have in there. Yeah.
Is lavender freeze resistant?
It is. So I didn't put them in this, but last week they had a huge snow. They actually got 12 inches of snow out on the lavender farm. It's very beautiful. All of the plants just look like huge snowballs out there. So it's totally fine. It actually kind of goes dormant. As long as it's not under, snow or ice for weeks and weeks at the time, then it'll come right back in the spring. Oh, it's totally fine. At Christmas, Lowe's did have this cute little lavender tree. I'd never even heard of the variety, but it was just a little shaped lavender tree that I had put outside, and I looked this morning and I have 2 blooms on it. So. Yep. Yep. So lavender and rosemary are in the same family, so it does kind of look similar. My plant that I have that I told you has the 2 little blooms, the bloom heads are only about this tall, maybe a 1/2 inch tall, and it looks nothing like lavender. It looks like velvet, some type of velvet plant. So yes, they all look very different. And they're not all, like I said, they're not all pretty. So
you mentioned the phenomenal lavender, that
Yes,
it could grow in a clay pot.
Yes,
Do you know if it does well on a screen lanai? Because does it need, and is it something that dies and comes back?
So it needs to get 6 to 8 hours of sun a day.
Okay.
So if it's getting that on your lanai,
Okay.
then it's probably it'll probably grow well there.
Okay.
We're going to make sure you have some growing tips to take with you.
Okay.
Now it should come back. You want to deadhead your plant once it starts to bloom. If you cut the sprigs off, then it'll continue to bloom throughout the season. And then in the winter, like I said, it'll go dormant. It'll start looking gray and like it's dead, but it's not. It'll come back in the spring.
And I might have missed it earlier. Did you say you have your own lavender farm?
So
And if so, where is it located?
So we bought into a small franchise, and the farm is located in Friday Harbor, Washington, right out from Seattle, literally about as far from here as you can get and still be in the U.S. But it was our first encounter with lavender. We went on a vacation with a group of 8 people. There were 8 of us, and one person wanted to go to the lavender farm. And so we ended up going, and we're just smitten with all the things that you could do. The fact that it was organic and green and so helpful. So we just kind of got the lavender bug. Sure.
Question.
Yes.
apparently. She's been waiting.
Well, are we almost done with the video?
We are almost done so that you can get to the activities.
My serious question, if you mind me asking, you said that lavender is used to in the olden days, or at least in the Roman times, it was used as a sedative. How often is lavender used nowadays as sedatives?
Probably anybody that has it in their home. I use it nightly. I use a linen spray on my pillow, but I keep the strong stuff, the essential oil, nearby in case I, need a little more. Oh, it's going to be in the natural stuff. Just going to all be in the natural stuff. It's literally when it's cut from the plant, you cut it off, we put rubber bands around it, we hang it upside down in a dark area for about 5 to 6 weeks, and that's what it looks like. Yes, ma'am. All right, any other questions? Because I know some folks are like really ready to get to these activities. Yes. Yes. So you can find, and this is a very good distinction of quality lavender. True lavender, pure lavender, the fragrance is only going to last you about 30 to 40 minutes max. Okay, has a high tolerance for on the perfume spectrum. So it's only going to last about 30 to 40 minutes. The benefits continue for hours. Like our insect repellent, I've tested. I've had gardeners in Fernandina test for me. About 3 hours it lasts, as long as you're, if you're sweating profusely, you'd have to use more often. But on average, it lasts about 3 hours before you have to reapply. Same thing with to be able to sleep, you can use pure essential oil directly on your skin. It actually gets into your bloodstream to help lower your blood pressure and settle you down. So that the fragrance is going to go away pretty quickly, but then it'll keep you asleep for many hours. The what? Oh, so the man-made. So if it's not pure lavender, the fragrance can last for hours and hours. That means it has chemical additives. So that means that's a man-made fragrance, not pure lavender. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you for letting us come today to speak to you. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Pam, for your presentation today. And when you guys are ready, you can go see Christy in the back right here in the red sweater, and she's going to instruct you on which station to go to.